And also it occurred to me that when we decide to have children, I can still wear this.
Lizzie McGuire, you are an outfit repeater.
Hey guys, today I've got 10 winter outfit ideas for you that you can wear when it is actually cold outside. Well, cold by mid-Atlantic standards anyway, but be prepared for all of the sweaters. For each of these, you can change out the layering options based on your own individual climate needs where you live, and I'll get into that a little bit more as we go along, so let's just get started. So since I started the video wearing purple, I might as well just keep on rolling with that and start with my very purple first outfit. This is something I did actually wear a week or two ago when Charles and I went out. I don't know, that day I was just really feeling like wearing purple, and I decided to get a little bit bold and pair purple tights with a purple sweater. And I was a little bit unsure about it until I threw on this coat. There was something about this shade of green with these two tones of purple that I was just absolutely loving. I like green and purple together regardless. It feels a little bit Halloween-y, and that's probably why I like it. And although I've said before I'm not the biggest fan of pairing tons of color together, since this was mostly muted variations of green and purple, I felt good in it still. I then layered on a beanie and a scarf, and I think that really just pulled it all together. I'm still trying to figure out what shape of beanie works best for my face. This was just one I picked up for $5 at Target, and as far as keeping me warm, it gets the job done, so it's good enough for now. So again, this color combination I like just because I like green and purple and they're muted, but also having those solid whites and blacks to play off of, I think really anchors the outfit and doesn't get too lost in the color and doesn't make me feel super crazy and out there. It's just a little bit. I've got the two white shades here, and then I've got the black with the beanie, the skirt, and the boots. This is actually a dress underneath the sweater. I just liked how that layering worked out a little bit better than I did with my black skirts. So if you need a little bit more layering because it's really, really cold where you live, I do think this outfit would work with a pair of just black tights or black leggings. I did end up going on Amazon and purchasing those fleece line tights that are fake sheer, and I do like them. They are very warm. The only thing is you have to size up so much, and even buying these from the plus sized option is still too small. These actually keep writing down, and I think I need to go back and buy the largest possible size I can find because they just, oh, their sizing is so jacked up. So keep that in mind if you're shopping for these on Amazon. What they market as the average sizing is like for children. And then I know in the past I've found fleece-lined leggings at Walmart, and I'm probably going to look for another set of those this year as well. So definitely play around with those options for your legs if you need a little bit more, and then you can always layer another shirt underneath the sweater if you need an extra layer there. This I believe I thrifted. Sweater is thrifted. Jacket was a hand-me-down. A couple years ago I got quite a haul of some hand-me-down vintage stuff that someone was just getting rid of for free. Skirt slash dress was also thrifted, so were the tights. Boots obviously I bought new because I buy most of my shoes new. But this one I thought was a fun way to play with color that didn't overwhelm me and still kept me warm. And here's another one that I have also actually worn. At the beginning of October, Charles and I went to the Renaissance Festival, and it was very cold and threatening rain all day. So I had to skip my originally planned cottagecore fantasy outfit and opt for something that would keep me warm. So I decided to lean into one of my other core aesthetics, which I like to call the fisherman's wife. And I ended up really loving this outfit. It kept me very warm, very comfortable, and it still felt cute. I'm very obsessed with this kilt style skirt right now, and this is probably my favorite sweater right now also. And also corduroy. You're gonna see a lot of corduroy in this video. That is one of my favorite textures for fall and winter for the colder months. And then when I actually wore this outfit, I wore my, I think they're called duck boots, like those ones with the rubber around the bottom, but right now I just have my riding boots on. I think those work pretty well too. And to keep warm under these layers, just because it is a skirt, I typically wear leggings. So I just have regular cotton leggings in this case. You could also, like I said before, get fleece lined leggings. You could also layer another top under the sweater. Layer accordingly as you need. This outfit will be very forgiving of extra layers that you want to add underneath. And then since this is a winter outfit video, I'm gonna add a coat. I wore my raincoat to the Ren Fair because it was threatening rain, but if it were not threatening rain, I would just go with my long black wool coat. This is such a good basic coat that works with so many outfits and is inconspicuous. And in this case, I also like the length that it brings, because obviously we've got some breaking of the silhouette between the skirt and the sweater, but I like adding that longer layer on top. And also I'm obsessed with this hat right now. I like it so much that I bought another one in black. This feels very English, very UK weather, and like I'm just gonna go be a lighthouse keeper, which honestly, I feel like that's my husband's dream job. He would do that in a heartbeat, I think. And then I could be the lighthouse keeper's wife, and I'm ready for the job. I already looked the part. POV, I'm your mom in 1995, and I've just called you in from playing outside for a very nutritious lunch of pizza bagel bites and Capri Sun. Y'all know I love my 90s floral dresses. I wear them all year round, and I especially love to layer them under sweaters when it starts getting cold out. So here I have one of my dark, long floral dresses layered under this black sweater. Again, I have it layered over leggings. I'm gonna just stop explaining the variations that you can do with your leg wear, because I think at this point you get it. You can swap it out for fleece lined or no tights or thin leggings or fleece lined leggings. You can swap this out for whatever you need. We understand that, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna stop bringing it up because it's getting redundant. And then I wasn't quite sure what footwear to go with. I was torn between these boots and my Doc Martens, but I kind of liked these a little bit better. So these are some thrifted black boots that I got this past summer. I realized for the first outfit I said that most of my shoes I buy new, but looking at the shoes that I have out for this video, it's like 50-50. I layer this dress with several of my sweaters. I do have a lot of stuff in a similar color palette, which helps with mixing and matching, so let me show you this actually with the previous sweater real quick. So I actually like this combination a little bit better. I like how the orangey brown of this sweater picks up those orangey brown tones in the dress, but I already showed you this sweater with an outfit, so I wanted to give a little bit more variety. So I was thinking I would just go with my long black wool coat again, but then I thought I might try this one. And I actually think this works really nicely because again, we have a brown tone playing against the browns in the floral print, and I think that looks really nice. I think it just brings an extra dimension that we wouldn't have if I just went with the black coat and had all black. I mean, obviously I love an all black outfit. If you don't already know that, where have you been? But I just think this looks really nice. And then I also want to add my scarf, and now this feels complete. Now this feels like I can go walk through the world and not shiver my little buns off. And then obviously add hat and gloves as needed, whatever else you need to get you through the cold. But yeah, I'm really liking how the browns all play together, and then I think the little pop of white just looks really nice. Is this all thrifted? Yeah, I think this entire outfit is secondhand. This coat I got as a hand-me-down from my mom. This was another hand-me-down from that collection of vintage that I got for free. I love when I can put together an outfit that I really love that's all secondhand. It just feels like an accomplishment. More corduroy. Told you there'd be a lot in this video. And again, this is one I have actually worn in my real life. I don't know why I feel like that's important to say, but I know that oftentimes with fashion content, there are a lot of outfits that get created but not actually worn out in the real world, and unless you actually wear your clothes out in the real world, you don't really have a full grasp of whether or not you actually like the outfit. You have to wear it out of the lab. Basically. This was something I picked up during my October thrift with me video, and I just took up the straps a little bit. I feel like I want to take in the rest of it a little bit as well, but I kind of like how much room there is, and also it occurred to me that when we decide to have children, I can still wear this, and I kind of don't want to change that. And then I have it layered over this somewhat chunky knit sweater. This was a birthday gift a couple years ago. It's from Target, and I just really love these colors together. I love the olive green with the rusty brown. Again, I have it layered over leggings, and then I decided to go with my riding boots for this. I feel like the Doc Martens would work as well, but I was feeling the riding boots in this instance. For a coat, I would probably just go with my black wool coat again, just to keep it simple. It matches what I already have on, doesn't detract from it or distract, and I think the length works pretty well with these overalls. I was gonna call it a jumper, but then I realized if you're in the UK and you're watching it, this is also a jumper. Yeah, because in the US I feel like we call these jumpers, right? No? Just me? Okay. And this again feels pretty fisherman's wife. Like I said, it's just one of my core aesthetics that happened accidentally, and I'm just rolling with it. Okay, do I say it? Should I say it? I shouldn't say it. I'm gonna say it. I actually wore this outfit out in real life too. This outfit was heavily inspired by the new Netflix series Wednesday, which the show itself was forgettable, but the fashion inspiration was pretty great, and Jenna Ortega was freaking adorable as Wednesday. And honestly, I am grateful for the style inspiration because this sweater was a recent thrift purchase that I kind of regretted. I obviously couldn't return it, and then I was like, oh crap, I don't actually know what to wear this with other than like jeans. And then the school uniform actually made me think to try pairing it with this skirt, and then the velvet blazer just kind of felt like a natural addition to that. Just like corduroy, velvet is one of my absolute favorite textures, and I love getting to wear it through the fall and the winter. I don't know if you can see how nice and cozy that is. Ugh, it's just lovely. This black velvet blazer was another piece from that vintage hand-me-down collection that I got, so this was for free. And here's my black version of the corduroy baker's cap. Baker boy cap? Baker cap. Anyway, this type of hat. I think, is this all secondhand again? Yeah, except for the shoes. Black and white sweater over a pleated midi. I do not have the sweater tucked in because it's a bit cropped. I like when the sweater's just a little bit cropped so then I don't have to tuck it in. I could have gone with tights, but I decided just to go with knee-high socks this time around, and then I have that with my chunky Mary jeans. I just love these shoes so much. They're so much fun. And if I needed another layer, I think I would just go with the long black wool coat over this. I'm not going to put it on right now because I'm very, very warm. And then I would probably go with my white scarf if I needed a scarf as well. Just, you know, keep it simple, keep it in the same color palette. I just really love how this blends preppy and gothic into one look. I'm struggling with the daylight here as the sun goes at a weird angle, so please bear with me. So this is another super preppy option, definitely leaning more into dark academia though, and I like this. I don't know that I would necessarily wear this. This isn't quite my style, but I do think it's cute. This skirt was like the ultimate dark academia thrift find that I also picked up during my October thrift with me video. It was in the little girls section, but I think someone thought it was a girls 12, but I think it's actually just a vintage women's 12 because this is way too big to be a little girl's 12. This has to be a women's item that was misplaced. Anyway, so yeah, the skirt was thrifted. The green sweater, I have tried to sell this in the past. I wasn't sure about it, but I think I'm gonna keep it. I actually do really like this color, and it's definitely a great sweater for really cold days because it's a very thick knit, and I think I got this off Poshmark like 3-4 years ago. The white button down is also thrifted, and then I went with the chunky Mary jeans to keep it preppy, and here I have the fake sheer tights that I got off Amazon just to give them a proper demonstration, I guess, because I brought them up and then I realized I haven't used them yet in this video. And then I went with white socks over them bunched down around the ankles. I also think leg warmers would look so cute, but I don't have any leg warmers right now, and I don't really know if I want to buy any. It's one of those things that I'm like, yeah, they're super cute and I feel like I would get use out of them, but I haven't really decided to make the plunge yet on that purchase. So bunched up socks will do for now. And then for a coat, once again, just the plain black wool coat. I mean, it's so simple, it's so easy, and it just works seamlessly with so much that I have. I did try the camel colored coat, but it was just a little bit off. I like how this keeps everything very dark and pulls in the black from the shoes a little bit better. So just another sort of preppy dark academia option. This is not really like my core style, but I do like this. I don't really know where I would wear this, but given the right opportunity, I think I would wear this out. So let's throw in an option with jeans because I know not everyone loves wearing skirts and dresses as much as I do. And honestly, a lot of days if I'm just like running out to the store or other uneventful things like that, I do kind of just throw on jeans and a sweater and go. So for this, I went with a baggy on baggy kind of outfit, which is not really something I typically go for. I don't tend to love how that looks on me, but I know some people like that, so figured I might as well throw it in here. And I actually don't mind this. I think this is okay on me. This is one of my favorite sweaters. It's not the most flattering silhouette, but I just think the pattern and the color blocking is so fun. Gosh, I thrifted this years ago, and I think it might actually be a men's sweater that was mistakenly placed in the women's section. This is a theme that we're seeing, isn't it? That stuff just gets placed in the wrong section, and that's where I happened to find it and purchase it. So yeah, a really fun sweater that even if it's not the most flattering cut on me, I'm gonna keep it and keep wearing it because I just think it is so much fun. And then I have that with my baggiest jeans that I own, and then I like to pair these jeans with my Doc Martens. I think that's a good kind of counterbalance to the heaviness of the sweater. So a super casual, comfy look. I was struggling with what to do for an outer layer. Most of the proportions of all of my jackets just kind of throw off the outfit. I mean, really, if I just needed something to keep warm, I'd probably just go with the black wool coat because that's such an easy basic, but Proportions wise, the best thing I think I have is the leather jacket. I know that's not necessarily a winter coat, so out of all the jackets I have, I do think the proportions of this leather jacket work the best with everything that I've got going on here. It's still just a little bit off. I don't love it, and it's not going to be the warmest option. This sweater is very warm, but like I said, if I needed something warmer, I would go with the black wool coat. So right after filming this video, I actually thrifted a long black puffer coat that is filled with down feathers, and I think that would actually be a great option with this outfit, but unfortunately I did not have it at the time of filming. Go figure. I mean, this isn't terrible. This feels fine. I would feel fine wearing this out. It's just like 1% off, and I think the thing that would make this better would be possibly one of the bomber jackets that we've been seeing a lot this past season. I don't particularly love bomber jackets enough to go out and buy one. I don't think it would work enough with the rest of my wardrobe, but this would probably be one outfit where that would be the best option. I could see that tying in with this pretty well. So yeah, there's a pants option for my people who prefer pants. I think this might be our first outfit without a sweater. This is an outfit that I actually wore several times last winter and I was really loving it. I'll have to pull it out again this winter as well because I still think it's really cute. So I just went with a brown turtleneck underneath this plaid brown dress, and then just to make it a little bit more playful, I went with colorful yellow tights. I also have it belted at the waist, and I wasn't quite sure what shoes to do with it. I did go with my riding boots, which I just feel like is a smidge off. I don't totally love it, but none of the other shoes that I brought out here are really working with it. What did I wear last year? I think I just wore my beat up brown boots that are not cute. Because I just needed shoes, honestly, so actually the riding boots are better than that. I think these are my best option at the moment. Just because with anything that's lower down on the ankle, it's just so much yellow. It's like overwhelming. It's a little bit overkill. So this is definitely a lot of fall colors going on, but this worked really great for me last winter and kept me warm. I mean, because I've got the turtleneck covering me up, the dress is a very thick material. Again, make changes as you need with the tights. These colorful tights that I have are all pretty thin and soft, and so I think they would actually work pretty well layered over a pair of thicker or fleece-lined tights. Also, dance tights are fairly warm. I have this pair of Capezio dance tights that I've had since I was like 16, I think, and they're still going strong. I don't know how I haven't ripped them yet, but they're pretty warm if you want just a solid colored tight to layer under your colorful tights, or like some fun fishnets or pattern tights that are not that warm. That could get a little tight around the midsection with all of that spandex layering, but it's an option. And then for my coat, I again would just go with the simple black wool coat. It's a similar length to the pinafore, so keeps things in proportion and doesn't detract from the outfit at all. I don't know, what would you call this if you had to put an aesthetic label on it? I guess this leans mostly dark academia, only because of the plaid. Yeah, I don't know what you would call it. And honestly, it doesn't matter. Alright, let's do another turtleneck one while we're at it. This is also very preppy. I don't know how I ended up with so much preppy stuff in this video, but anyway, this feels a little bit similar to an outfit I did in my fall outfits video, but it's just the parts of it that I like. I think I like it over the turtleneck better. I think that just kind of has that very preppy Ralph Lauren look. And then I have it paired with my black corduroy pants that I just finished taking in, and they fit so much better. And then these block heel boots. I think what I didn't like before when I had this blazer paired with a cream sweater, the sweater was fine, but I think the orangey brown cropped like ankle pant with the flats was just where it was going wrong. I think the bottom half was just not it, but I actually really like this blazer with the corduroy pants. I'm loving the textures and patterns going on here. And then of course I had to throw in the black corduroy hat because why not? Let's just keep rolling with all of the corduroy. Is this all thrifted? Yeah, this is all thrifted too. Thrifted, 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 thrifted. Yes, okay. And like I said, it just feels very preppy, very Ralph Lauren kind of English countryside. That's not a typical go-to look for me, but I could see myself wearing this out. I think this is nice. And I kind of feel like I should be wearing a deerstalker hat. This is a little bit Sherlocky. Actually, we have a deerstalker hat. It's very tempting to dig it out right now, but I just, no, don't do it, Melody. Again, I'd go with the plain black wool coat. I know you're probably sick of seeing it, but honestly, guys, if you can find a coat that goes with 60% or more of your wardrobe and your outfits, it's gonna save you so much time and effort. Because I am very utilitarian when it comes to my coats. I mean, I want them to at least kind of go with my outfit, but for the most part, I'm like, this is just something I have to throw on to stay warm. I'm not typically spending a lot of time outside in it unless I'm doing outdoor work. But then if I'm working out in the yard, I don't care if I look cute, I just want to be warm, you know? So they're more utilitarian for me, so having a very simple black wool coat that goes with a lot of stuff is perfect. You don't have to think about it. Honestly, I think the hat is really what pulls it all together for me, because otherwise it's just like a really basic preppy outfit, but the hat is like, hi, now it's me, and I'm obsessed with these pants. I was about to film the last outfit, and then my phone died. So I had to let it charge for a little bit, and now we have no sunlight. Yeah, we're stuck with crappy artificial light for the last outfit, but we will carry on. This was gonna be my bonus outfit because it's a very fantasy-inspired outfit, but I decided to just make it the last one because I wanna be done. I'm tired. The sunlight's gone. Let's just wrap this up. So this is what I wore to a Lord of the Rings party that some friends of ours had last month. I dressed up as an elf, and I am obsessed with this. I want to wear this all the freaking time. I just need more excuses, more occasions to wear this. So this is actually 2 layers. Underneath is this long olive green velvet dress. Again, bringing in the velvet because it's just the perfect texture for winter. Over top of it, I have this layered mesh thing. I think it's technically lingerie, but I'm wearing it as an overdress. But it's just so pretty, the black mesh with the gold details on it. And then I have it belted at the waist with my corset belt, and then also just a regular black belt over that. Oh, and then shoes, I just went with my riding boots. I wanted to use my lace-up roper boots that I bought from eBay that I mentioned in my last outfit video were not great, and here's how not great they are. The heel broke off. Anyway, so that is what I would wear, but they're broken right now, so I'm gonna go with the riding boots. I mean, riding boots are perfect for a variety of fantasy-inspired outfits, so coats. None of my coats really go with this. Again, just for the sake of keeping warm, I would go with the long black wool coat probably, or if you really want to lean into the fantasy aspects, a faux fur shawl could work really well too. I know, it's so over the top, but it's so fun. This takes it a little bit more in like a Viking direction, I guess, but I still think it's fun. It's a little bit less elven than something longer and flowing, but I don't really have like a long flowing coat. Yeah, like I said, this was gonna be my bonus outfit, but I just wasn't loving the couple of things that I had as options for the last outfit, and I'm just tired and want to be done. So this got bumped up and is just gonna be the last outfit. And you know what? Maybe I'll just randomly throw in fantasy inspired outfits from now on. So, you know, I'll have all of my normie stuff, and then the last one I'm just gonna randomly throw costumey stuff at you, because I like to wear them too. And once again, all of this is thrifted as well. Yeah. Alright guys, so that is all I have for you today. I decided to just do 10 outfits instead of 20 for the winter, simply because I just don't feel as inspired in the winter. And honestly, I tend to wear a lot of the same stuff in the winter that I would wear in the fall, just swapping in sweaters and more layers. So I hope that this gave you some ideas for outfits that you can put together with your own clothes. And if you made it all the way to the end, leave a little snowflake emoji in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram, where I sometimes post updates. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye! This outfit was heavily inspired by the new Wetflix. What the heck? Oh no. Shh. Oh, you can tell I'm not wearing socks, but whatever. Okay, good enough. Oh, that's a leaf. I thought that was a bird.